everyone! Old school Pokemon here, back again with the PokeFlipz podcast, joined by my usual co-host, Catch 'em All Collectibles, Dan. And today we have a very special guest joining us for the first time, your average player. Think you're our first oh no, we had Pokemon Steven. I was gonna say think you're our first international guest, but you're our first UK guest, I guess.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. At least it's something. Oh, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I'm the youngest.
There we go.
Take whatever I can get. Try. It's a background. Yeah, no. Yeah, first of all, I'm known to people average AP, whatever you want to do. But my divert, fucking difficult, I would say. No, I'm from Norway. I'm 19. I as soon as I came out the pretty much. I've been collecting cards and of the games, mainly the games. I think through my childhood, I used to play a little competitive BGC. I've I've played every single game they ever released. Funny enough, I started with XY, so that can show you my. Um, but I found back to the hobby in 2020, I think it was. Yeah, 2020. Uh, because I had like some of us, we have a difficult time happen there and stuff, and I found it very healing with cards and collectibles in general, just collecting my mind off of everything else. Um, very dedicated to school, so it was so a great pause from that. Um, and I dove headfirst in, started to get to know people, and then fell into a British community from Pokey mainly. Started talking to him and became a moderator in his chat. I technically moderator chat for a year. So I found Chloe as well. Um, I'd watched them prior, but I did then, and then I became a moderator there. Then come 2022, yeah. I met up. I took the leap of faith and said, "Hey, I've known this community for a while now. Talk to them. Genuine people. If I just show up here, uh, might be able to have a fun time." And did so, and so welcoming. They took me in as one of their own. Pretty much. I had so much. Got to meet many new. I got to Admiral longer than I've been alive. Let's just that. And I had so much fun. Came back from that. Went right into school again. Quitting high school now. Or finishing high school. I'd rather say. Your degree was. Um, uh, was a little bit burned out of school, and then Harry, which is Chloe's husband, was like, "We need help," and I was like, so I took the leap of faith, jumped the ocean, crooked my teeth a little bit, came to the UK, and said, "Why not?" So, am.
Very familiar background. Mr. Walrus wanted to know if every UK streamer takes turn in that stream room, or If you got it on loan for the day?
It's not quite red light district, if I can say that, but there's been quite a few people in this room.
Yeah, the UK is small enough where every PokeTuber can use the same recording room.
Yeah, at least car park filled with left.
Um, I, I think we're gonna run, just so everyone knows, we're gonna run a little bit shorter than we normally do. We had a little bit later of a start. Let us know, UAP, whenever you need to dip out. I think you mentioned maybe a couple hours, so maybe 5 p.m. ish Eastern. But yeah, we'll take
hours.
questions.
I don't mind. Like I'll see how far we go. To be honest.
Okay, perfect. We definitely don't want to leave you stranded and missing your public transit.
uh,
Let's see.
what time is it over there for you anyway?
Right now it's 10 past 8.
Okay.
Well, I thought you guys were 6 hours.
Just
Maybe it's daylight savings time. Maybe it's 5 hours, 6 hours, depending on the time of the year.
yeah. Usually add on. I think it's add on. It takeaway. It becomes really weird. So don't choose Northern Europe winter time. Just don't.
Yeah, no. Too cold. Too depressing. Too cloudy. Too dark.
I don't know. Something cozy about it, you know?
Ah,
You can gather up by the fire and burn your bulk and
burn
leave your
your
shopping
ball.
carts. And I say, if you ever spend all your money on Pokemon cards, at least you can build a house out of bulk, you can eat paper, and you can burn bulk power.
Yeah.
This is true.
We actually, aside from a couple Mr. Walrus meme questions, I don't think we have any questions yet. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Otherwise, we're just hanging out here waiting on questions and any topics fresh on your guys' minds. Any plan for the weekend? Any pokey news you want to touch on?
I just or we just heard our allocation numbers for the what's that thing
Oh,
called? The classic
TCG
collection
Classic,
boxes.
yeah.
I was expecting it, but I was hoping to get a few more. Um it definitely does sound like it's going to be an extremely limited product. I'm getting 3 from my new main distributor and then 1 from my second distributor. So I'm getting 4 total. Which I was happy with, but I wish I was getting a few more of those. Cuz 4, it's like what do you even do with 4 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my plan is to I think I'm gonna open 1 and see what the condition looks like. And if the condition's really good and the cards are gradable, I'll open a second one to grade everything. But then I think the other 2 I'm just gonna keep sealed. Um, if the condition's bad on the first one, I would really like to run one through eBay Live. I think that would be a lot of fun. So if the condition's bad on the first one, I'll keep the second one or the 3 sealed and run one through eBay Live.
Hmm.
But we'll see what happens there.
Sounds like a good plan. I think I'm not speaking permanent numbers here. I'm not telling you from the higher ups. We're hopefully getting roughly I think.
Mm.
And I'm interested. Comes the same with the Japanese method. Just because Japanese, I think. Correct me if I think you get the cardboard box round table itself, and decks come in a separate package inside of there.
I saw a
They're
couple
packaged.
images in Discord. Yeah.
Because some people said you can open them, pretty much take out the decks, actually see it from the outside. That's buying it from things like
I think I'm
That's a bummer.
yeah. I think I'm getting 6 total. I think I have 5 at one distributor and then 1 at the other. But I'm not 100% yet. It could end up being 7. I'm in a similar spot as Nick though. I'm probably gonna open one, see what the quality looks like. But I'm not putting a ton of time into thinking about it because it's just not that deep of a play, right? Like I only have 5 or 6. Theoretically, I could go to the market if I was really that bullish on it. I could go and try to buy a bunch at retail or something, but I'll wait and see what it looks like. If the quality is like immaculate of one, I could open all but one of them maybe. All but 1 or 2, we'll see.
yeah. I think somebody's saying my volume is cutting out. Is it better if I just talk in here? Can you guys hear me cutting out, or is it just
I've been hearing you
You
fine,
you
but
sound good to me the whole time.
yeah, sometimes the
Just put the
stream
mic in your mouth. That'll stop it.
yeah, yeah. But one thing as well is that you guys say like I'm getting one from this distributor and I'm getting one from this distributor. That is one thing that's different over here. We do in fact mostly only have Asmodee, which is a pain in the ass for sure. Considering there's basically no competition. So when you deal with one distributor, it's not the same as you guys get. You can have a rep. That rep can help you get products. Well, here we get left kind of on our own, as much as people wouldn't like to hear that. But it's how it is. We would love more competition, of course. And I'm speaking for myself, not as part of the business now. I'm just speaking on my own. So uh gotta get to that. So Dan, if you ever get to that level, please just become a distributor. I know you like to take your margins in between.
definitely never gonna get to that level, but yeah, hopefully it would be nice if you guys could have a secondary one over there, because one person running it all, they know the power that they have, right? I know even over in the
Yeah.
US, we have several distributors and they still play these games with a reprint comes, and instead of distributing it, they retail it essentially. Like
Yeah.
Lost
Yeah.
Origin, Silver Tempest, those came out, but it's like, yeah, you can have it at wholesale pricing if you take all this other junk that we can't sell, or you can just buy it directly for 115, 120 per box. Like that's technically like not what distributing is. They're more retailing slash, I mean, they're almost, people say that I invest in it. If I invest in Pokemon, then distributors are too, and that can be a little scary to think about.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest like the biggest people hoarding product is actually distributors. There is a reason why we have mass amounts of product sometimes just enter the market out of nowhere. There is no way that it's just, oh shit, we just found stuff laying around. There is obviously distributors sitting on some things, and sometimes they need to churn it, sometimes they can hold it back. And I don't think that people are stupid in this hobby. I think the people dealing with mass amounts of products know that it has secondary market values, and that value can increase with time. And I think sometimes they take advantage of it, and then maybe some people in this hobby might overlook it and think that, oh, it's just a dead product that we found randomly. But going there.
And did you see, Dan? Did you see, Mad Al has Evolving Skies back up on their website?
For 400.
$400 a box.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
Yeah, might as well be eBay at that point.
Exactly.
And distributors too, not only do they sell product for retail essentially sometimes. They sell direct to consumer out the back door through various channels. Historically, that's been something that's popped up from time to time. I think it goes on still to this day to some extent. I don't want to name exact usernames and distributors because I'm not 100% certain, but years ago there was definitely kind of like a smoking gun situation with one distributor that was selling an exclusive product that could only be found through that distributor, and it was being sold on eBay at a much reduced price to what it was sold for through that distributor to accounts. So fun times.
Well, we've just seen the Pokemon Company Japan recognize that someone's selling product out the back door at their distribution centers, because mostly the Japanese distribution market should be closed off, and we've seen, just if you go on Facebook, there is no way there's one guy who's been into the shop and just gotten, I don't know, 50 cases of 151 and can just lob it on the market just freely. They've been, like, it even says on the box, not for sale out to Japan.
Mm.
So if he got that straight from Pokemon Company Japan, then he'd just break the rules. So of course they've gotten it somewhere else, and whether people like it or not, that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen anyways. So it's good that Pokemon Company Japan recognizes it, but I don't know if just trying to shut everything down is the right way to do it, instead of, I don't know, using max printing capacity or whatever. Like, none of us knows what max printing capacity even means. So
Yeah, especially with some amount of the product getting kind of held off in the middle in these middle distribution points. If things started getting ugly, they could really get a lot uglier. If there's Pokemon Classics actually made a great video about like the bullwhip effect. All the product getting kind of choked up in the middle, and then if it's being intentionally held up in the middle, and then things turn really south, it can cause them to go even further south than they would have otherwise due to the artificial tie-ups, all that's going on there. But anyways, I don't know that anything can be done about it. It's the product is there at the price, buy it or don't buy it, right? As it always is.
yeah.
Mhm.
We did have a little bit of
Um,
commentary on like the whole TikTok. I've been seeing a lot of people talking in Discord about all the discounts that TikTok is giving. Where'd the question go? Here we go. Fat Belly Collect says, how is TikTok able to give $20 off booster boxes? It's just customer acquisition. It's essentially advertising dollars. There are credit cards, there are bank accounts that will give you $300, $500, $1,000 if you start direct depositing your checks, if you open a new account. There are companies that put up billboards. There are all different kinds of advertising methods, and TikTok is subsidizing these deals to get you to sign up for an account. And yeah, I actually heard somebody say in a Discord that they bought whatever the box was, whether it was 151 or whether it was V-Star. The invoice inside the box was actually for like the full market price, and then all of it was just subsidized off. So the merchant, the retailer that you're buying from, is likely getting the full amount that it's worth on the secondary market, and TikTok is just subsidizing all that as a cost of acquisition for you. You being a customer is valuable to them. If you buy today from them, there's a chance that you'll be buying for years down the line. So that's all it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speak facts here, so be wary. But I have looked into some of it, and I've questioned it a little bit, because it's reminds me very much of how, I think it was China and Japan for a little while had insane amounts of free shipping just worldwide everywhere. And it was the Japanese and Chinese government subsidizing shipping costs, because they wanted to one, funnel in buyers from everywhere trying to buy Japanese and Chinese products. Not Pokemon speaking, just everything, just knickknacks, plastics, all that stuff. And it
Mhm.
seems to be a similar situation, just with TikTok having enough money to subsidize buyers to just get people used to the platform. Because whether you like it or not, when people see free shipping, discounts, free money here, free money there, people bite into it. It's like, why not? People want that product, and if I can get somewhere, I will.
Mhm.
And subsidizing $10, $20 or whatever on a booster box here and there, I don't kill TikTok.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, it's like when
Are
Whatnot
they
came
doing
out. Oh, sorry. When Whatnot came out, they had those links where if you signed up through it, you'd get $10 for bidding.
We'll have those.
PSA is pushing that Loop app where you get like $100 Loop credit when you sign up. It's all about just getting users. It's about getting a big user base. That'll draw more sellers, and then you'll establish a marketplace. And once people are like locked into something, they're just more likely to stay there. So customer acquisition is big. Sorry, Nick, to cut you off there.
I was just gonna say, I don't have a TikTok, and I haven't been on there. Is it just like, do they do auctions on there, or is it just like buy it now stuff?
Uh,
Either of you know?
everything, but usually the discounts are for the buy it now stuff, not for
Okay.
the auctions. But if you can get, I think you can get discount codes, but you can also get like same as Whatnot does, like credit.
Mhm.
So you can get like the spend $5 get $10 type of thingy. I
Okay.
think they also have some type of affiliate thing. So, for example, I think apps like, not going to show anything, but there are banking apps that gives you like, oh, sign up your friend and get 50 free pounds here and there,
Mhm.
or
Yep.
dollars, or whatever your currency is. It works the same way.
Yeah.
So they're just spending money on affiliate marketing.
Wasn't it last episode, Nick, that we were talking about TikTok? And I'm like, eBay better watch out, because within 6 months, Nick's gonna be streaming for TikTok if they tease him in there with a good enough deal.
We're gonna get that old school Pokemon intro as a sound on TikTok, and it's gonna go
Nice.
viral. Trust me.
And now that we got John working for TikTok, I got the in, so we're good to go. eBay better watch out.
They're infiltrating the cabal, boys.
And Fat Belly Collects has a further question. His local game store sells Scarlet and Violet for $74 on TikTok, but in store for $109. Would they match their own price? Highly unlikely, no, because when they sell you that $74 on TikTok, not only do they not have fees, TikTok's allowing them to sell for free, very likely, they have negative fees. They're probably paying negative 30% or so, because they're just getting like, hey, if you sell this, not only will we not take 10, 12% from you, we will give you $40 to sell this box for us on eBay or on TikTok. Like, that is the incentive system. One analogous thing that I think of, and it's kind of frustrating, but not me the last time I bought a car, but the last time my dad bought his vehicle, he was going to just write a check, pay cash. He was going to be one and done and out of there. They had some incentive because the dealership was being subsidized through whatever lending program, whatever bank, whatever it was. He saved $1,000 by financing his truck, and they had a penalty if you paid it off within 3 months or whatever it was. So he like carried the balance. He paid the minimum payment for 3 months, and then he paid the full shot to pay off the remainder of the truck. And I think he paid a little bit of interest during those 3 months, but he saved $1,000. It's like the dealership wouldn't give him as good of a deal for cash because they were getting money on the back end. They were probably getting $1,000 on the back end from the lending company to get customers to finance. So it's like these weird incentive systems. It's these weird like dealings that it leads to these interesting situations. And one of those things that I meant to bring up too was you got to be a little bit careful with TikTok Shop, because some of these deals like $60, $70 Scarlet Violet, it almost sounds too good to be true. $60, $70 V-Star, $70, $80 151. A lot of times that saying is used, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Well, TikTok has this weird thing where a lot of them feel too good to be true, but they're actually legit. because TikTok is just paying for customer acquisition. I also have seen screenshots of certain TikTok shops showing $100 Evolutions booster boxes. I'm quite certain that those
I
ones are
will
not legitimate.
I will want to add as well. There's a saying out there: if you don't know what the product is, then you are the product.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I will say your information is valuable. Might not believe it, and you might think you're a nothing in this world, but your credit card information, where you live, what you watch, everything. I'm not saying this is just for TikTok. This is for every app that takes your information. You are a product,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
and the information you are giving when you buy stuff is worth more than the discount you get.
And I'm not an expert on the UK and the EU and all that. I know the EU though has in many instances very very strict privacy laws. Are those TikTok subsidies even a thing in the EU, or is that not occurring? And then I guess since the UK is separate from the EU now, are those a thing in the UK?
That's the funny thing. I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna speak outside of any other country I haven't been in. I
Mm.
know for Norway and I know for UK. In Norway, I haven't gotten any of them. UK, I have. UK is not part of the EU. Norway is not part of the EU, but Norway has dealings with the EU and follows a lot of their rules. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that's my experience. If anyone's outside of the UK and Norway and are in the EU, I would love to hear if that's a thing as well. Because if I know that TikTok got banned off of every single phone in the government in Norway, that's all I know.
Wow.
See, I feel like I missed some questions, but maybe not. But yeah, it is an interesting scenario where like with new customer acquisition, there may be deals that seem too good to be true, but like it seems as if $50 below retail is kind of the norm. If you see like $700 below
Yeah.
retail, $600, $500 below retail, that's probably too good, too good to be true. Like I'm pretty sure it was a TikTok shop screenshot, but I definitely saw in a Discord in the past week $100 evolutions, which felt too good to be true.
Or maybe it's like they have one box, and
Yeah,
they're
it
just they're
might
just
be
using
one,
that to get people in the stream.
That's the thing. Like even
but
yeah, like
if you
one could be almost like a giveaway style. It's dangerous
Yeah,
territory though. Is what I'll say. I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, we got a question from
I will
Sam.
I will say I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking squash or like liquid that you dilute with water. Okay, relax.
um,
I don't know. The glass looks pretty fancy over there.
that is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
fancy. I've just got Coca-Cola, no Jack Daniels in it. Just got a birthday party to go to.
Mountain Dew? You're
Uh,
not
not
you're
Mountain
not
Dew
popping out
today.
the dew for this stream?
See, I drink Coca-Cola on some, and I drink Mountain Dew on the other. I'm trying to get either Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola to step up and try to get me like to be sponsored and stick with one the whole way. I'm available. Slide into my email. Emails are open.
I know John's trying to get that water sponsor. It's an untapped market,
Yeah.
guys. Come on. I don't see enough sponsors on these Pokemon podcasts.
Yeah, I mean I
What
can
is
be
what is
bought.
what is with all these Pokemon people wanting drink sponsors?
e-
Started with Scott with the stupid coconut water. Now
Yeah,
it's John
Vita
with the
Coco.
You got to
whatever
drink,
type of
right? You got to
water. Now
drink.
it's you with Coke.
You got to drink.
Yeah, I mean
Very easy to get.
why buy your beverages when they can be subsidized for you? Come on.
True.
We got a question from Sam, Kibby Collectibles. Question, I'm assuming I'm understanding this correctly. Who are your most influential collectors since getting more involved in the hobby?
He just
Influential
asked that question because he
collectors.
wants you to hear you say his name.
Yeah.
Um, I influential collectors. Okay, I will say, Sam, you are one of them. You are one of them, and I appreciate our friendship and the hobby and meeting you, and both you and your soon-to-be wife have helped me through a lot. Not only coming here to the UK, but also at home. I hosted my first show with Sam in Norway, and that went well. So he was my first like in real life just show experience, and that was fun. Sold plushies, sold graded cards, met a bunch of new people, and just had a real fun time. So I'll say Sam is one of them, but if we're gonna exclude Sam, I will probably collector. Okay. I'll say sorry, Nick, but I have to say Dan as well because
Oh,
he is
that hurts.
he his I'm very fond of his spreadsheet videos and all the economics. I'm a real math nerd myself, so I do enjoy it. I am sometimes overly frugal as well, which I've found in common with a few people in this hobby. And I do enjoy just min maxing a lot of things, sometimes to my own detriment. But yeah, still waiting on the min maxing of a lawnmower stream though, Dan.
I might end up having unveiling a new lawnmower stream. My lawnmower is falling apart. I don't know if I'm gonna get another full season out of it, but every year something else breaks on it. At some point, it becomes not worth fixing anymore. But it's not gotten there yet. It's getting close.
Compromise. You get a sponsor to get parts to fix the lawnmower, and you do a stream.
There we go. My cousin actually works at a place that like sells tractors and lawnmowers and stuff. I'll have to see if he wants to sponsor me. Maybe he'll be my first sponsor.
That'd actually be a good sponsor for you. But
Talking about sponsors though, sorry to cut you off a little bit, Nick. I just want to hear how has your sponsorships been working out? Yeah, I've seen you on Top 10 Pokemon. Have you done any more? Or is it just him?
I only did two there. I did two there, two different videos. He was booked. I was gonna plan to do a few more. He I think he got bought out between Low Popping and Kanto Shark. They bought the rest of his slots for the year. So I did.
Definitely them.
I think I got two new customers with those two videos. So one customer per video. I don't know what my expectations were. I don't know if that's high or low, but overall, relative to what my average customer earns me, like it probably was fairly reasonable. I think those will be fully paid off in like my what I net off selling items. But to close out this year, I'm probably not going to do any more. But at some point next year, I think I'll start pushing it again. I just need to I need to streamline some more things on my end, and it's a busy time. Anyone who follows me knows that I'm kind of working nights right now, so it's hectic.
Yeah, imagine. I just find it fascinating that there's actually not that much marketing going on comparatively to other markets, in my opinion. I
mhm.
think that just like marketing as a whole is very I wouldn't say underappreciated, but underserved, I guess, in our hobby. There's not a lot of people actually putting out ads. Say, for example, TVs. I don't see that much. I guess could say like Google ads, YouTube ads, that type of stuff. I don't see that too much. Um, but yeah,
The only real people who like small people like I know AGS does a lot, but Phantom Display and Graded Guard they do a lot of Facebook and Instagram ads. But
yeah.
aside from them, those are the only two people that I know who actually like promote and advertise and have like a marketing budget, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't watched the
And I do
episode
think
yet.
that could go over well for consignments. Doing something like that.
And that's the main reason why I haven't opted towards it. Like, I don't want to get inundated. I don't want to be swamped. But I haven't watched the episode yet. I know John, Pokemon Radar, recently had Min from Graded Guard on. And one of the things that he
Great
used to
episode.
like tease the episode, Min has sold six-figure like quantity of Graded Guards. He sold over 100,000 Graded Guards. So maybe his advertising is paying off, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, but it is a good product itself, and that will sell it. But obviously, marketing helps as well. But I will say that your service, consignment service, if some people, I'm sure that you, Nick, probably get some people who say, if I had a vintage box, for example, and I came to you and said, I'll give you this much percent, and you can have a stream on eBay Live, and you can have that much percent of a box, you might want to do it, just because of the fun, and you get a percentage of the sales.
Yeah,
So I figure
exactly.
like there's win-wins to be had in this hobby, and it really saves a lot of people for a lot of work.
Yep.
Being behind, obviously now I'm more familiar with setting up eBay blocks and having to ship everything out, having to pack 300 orders on a Sunday night, Monday morning, and getting it all shipped out. Like, it's not small bits of work. It is people might say that, oh shit, you work with Pokemon for a living, but it's not like it's easy work all the time. It's not like you just sit around, loaf, just don't do anything, and then, oh yeah, my day is done, I'm not paid. It's like there is a lot of work to it, and I think people really underappreciate the amount of work that like full-time hobbyists actually put in.
Oh yeah, it is. It is definitely a lot more work for sure.
Here's a question from Andy the Champ. Question: if you had $5,000 to spend on one Pokemon item to hold long term, what would you buy and why? And he says, follow up, it has to be a vintage item. Thanks, guys. I always appreciate the feedback. Oh, Nick, you told him a Mario Pikachu full art, sounds like. Said thanks for that.
Oh, there we go. He was the one who
I'll add
bought
a
that.
decent purchase.
Yes, that was when was that? That was before all the Japanese hype. So you did good on that one.
I
Yeah, I think some if you can take it first, I can think about it, because vintage in my perspective would be
yeah
different than people, I think.
yeah true vintage. The most vintage is more vintage than yourself, right?
Yep, yep.
um, I think this is in the vicinity. I've not like really sought out recent sales or anything, but I think the PSA 10 Shining Gyarados first edition would be in the 5K vicinity, right?
Yeah,
I
or no,
Wait,
Unlimited would first edition. No,
yeah, first edition is.
I know
I
it.
think first edition's like 10,
Ooh, is it that
10,
much?
12. I think so.
It might be. I would probably maybe I'd just buy a base first Charizard, the best base first Charizard that I could. If not, I would look at something like maybe a PSA 10 base set first edition. There are a couple of those that are in the 5K territory. Or I would go to like Shining Gyarados if it went for 5K, but it sounds like it might be higher.
No,
Uh,
yeah, because I'm seeing listings for like £15,000
oh
for a
wow.
first edition one. So I think a PSA 10 would be like unlimited, is the 5 grand one, not the first edition.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want unlimited. I
Jeez,
want first
man, you're
edition.
living in like 2014 over there.
I don't know. I see
Back in
one.
the past.
I see one for 9K on eBay
Ah, okay.
US. If 9K is
Yeah,
the
on
ask
eBay US,
price, like,
I'm
let me see if there's a recent sale. There was a
that would at least be a
listing.
good buy.
Yeah, there was a listing for
That would be a good buy.
6,500. Best offer accepted. I think I'm not too far off, to be honest.
Wait, are you saying Shining Charizard first edition?
Oh, Shining Gyarados. Did I say Charizard?
Shining Gyarados. Maybe I just misheard you.
Yeah, I may have
Um,
misheard you as well.
I might have said Charizard. I meant Gyarados.
Okay.
That's my bad.
Gyarados, Charizard, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, no, I can agree. I can agree. Shinings are very cool, and I think that people reminiscing about the games as well will always keep that card relevant. Um, as well, if you're able to find a PSA 10, but the hollow sheet you're missing, that's also a very, very, very cool pickup. Um, I think Chloe had a box. She broke near Revelation. He pulled both Shinings, and I think they had the hollow sheet layer missing. But the cards are generally in very bad condition if the hollow sheet is missing. Um, but yeah, if you can find that in the PSA 10, I agree. Great pickup.
What about you guys? What are you buying with 5K?
For me, I would say I like if it has to be one item, I would go first base, one of the tens. One of the cheaper tens.
Okay.
Whichever whichever one that would be.
I I would also if I was going to be boring, I also go first edition base, but trying to be a little bit more, I'd probably go for maybe look look to at least none. I wouldn't I wouldn't go for any of the sets. I'll most likely just go straight up to um Wizard of the Coast, choose some of the more popular Pokemons and go PSA 10. I wouldn't go nines. Yeah, maybe look at I'm very unfamiliar with the pricings, of course, but I'd reckon you can find a a can you find a gold star for
There are
find any of the gold stars?
several Gold Star
Oh,
PSA 10s are
you
under
can definitely get
5K.
10
Yeah,
gold turn.
Most of them, I
I
would
would
say.
probably yeah, because I think the cars are just over 20K 10, I think. But that one's also that's probably one of the ones that you could pick up in a 9, but I'd rather go one of the other gold stars, except for the dogs. I wouldn't go for the
Mhm.
dogs, even though I think they're really, really cool.
Yeah,
Just the
it's
whole situation with them. I think
unfortunate. Yeah.
they're very. It, I'm also gonna go on that rant and say that I think the Unseen Force would probably be that's from that era if our dogs.
Yep. I agree.
So I'd probably go for one of the gold stars.
We've got 5K is up.
Solid answer. I like that answer.
5K is a popular number today. I'll let someone else go first so I don't steal the first answer every time. Garen wants to know, okay, so you're starting fresh, 5K cash in your card account to start buying and selling to make money on the side. What are you buying? What are your moves? What are your plays?
Um, for me, it would be um just spending a lot of time looking on eBay and Facebook and Instagram and all those websites, Rare Candy, Heritage, Golden, and just looking for the best, probably raw collection, with 5K, the best raw collection that you could find. That would be my play.
I'll add. I can add to that and say that right now is one of the better times to buy, just because people are very over leveraged and people
Mhm.
are still biting into hype, still using money they don't have, and that means they need to sell at some point. So just keeping yourself liquid and turning over things will most likely grow your money the fastest. It will
Mhm.
be a grind. You will have to work. Um, And but I think that can do really well just picking up raw collections for people on Facebook is really underappreciated when it comes to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been this past year, I found more purchases through Facebook than I did eBay. Mm.
Yeah, I
I
think that's also has with the general amount of eyes looking at the same listings. People
Mhm.
have found out usually the same search patterns, the same keywords, and as eBay keeps optimizing their algorithm, it'll be easier and easier for people to find the items that everyone wants. Because
Yep.
that's what they want. They want the most eyes looking at the same listings to get the highest price. So they can take the most margin.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've done this, but that's exactly what I would do too. I would look to buy very, very liquid stuff. I would look to buy binder collections of like alt arts, modern cards. I would buy at some percentage of TCG player essentially, so that the grading misses, you sell, you break even, make a little money, but then you grade some amount of them too. And when you hit those big hits, like I mean, that's how I started, right? Like 5K is exactly what I started with 9 years ago, and then it's grown into everything I have today. A lot of people ask the question too, like, do you think it's easier or harder today? I think it's vastly easier. I think the information is so much easier to acquire. It's so much easier to like get a running start based off just all the information out there, all the different help that you can get in different discords and forums and whatever it may be, all the different YouTube tutorial
And
videos. Um and cuz
services like your own. Just
what
utilize the hobby, utilize people.
mm, yeah, I think there's so many more avenues, and people long for the prices from a decade ago, but they don't appreciate what the liquidity was, and the difference of the liquidity. So yeah, you could buy a lot more with 5K back then than you could today, but you can sell so much more product so much easier. The market is so vast, so liquid, so many avenues to sell it. So uh I think that someone starting today, this is a question that's always asked. Someone starting today could, in a year and 2 years, multiply their money further than I did back in 2014. The biggest unknown, though, the question that's impossible to answer, in 10 years, could someone replicate what you did? One thing that I had 8 years of a tailwind, and then I had a 10x, 20x boom. Do I think that will happen again? Probably not to that extent. So the 1 year, the 2 year, the 3 year could very well be better, but the 10 year is unlikely to replicate exactly just because I was very, very fortunate, very, very lucky in my timing. And Nick benefited from this. A lot of people that were in pre 2016 up to today, they benefited from that massive 10, 20x that I have a hard time envisioning could ever replicate the same way that it did. I say that though, Japanese, it only had a month or a two window, but it did fairly similar to what Watsy did in 2020, 2021, right? So crazy things happen all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think like you said, I think there's vast amount of information out there, and I think information is to to keep yourself active and keep yourself on your toes in this hobby. There's always new things coming out. There's always old things to be discovered. I think we're seeing that today. We're seeing just massive amounts of things that have been hidden for so long just come out. And I think that this is one of the most exciting times to be part of the hobby. Yeah, people might be hating on Obsidian Flames, Scarlet and Violet. People will always hate on stuff they don't recognize or stuff they don't. But people come around to it, and that's not to say, oh, all modern product will go up in value and all that stuff. Because I think most people know about attrition. It's just how long will that attrition have to take? That's a different discussion. But I think that people need to cherish what's actually happening, like the amount of people who can be doing the same thing, selling the same amount, and just making this a living. The fact that I can be hired as a worker to work with Pokemon full time is just astonishing to me. And one thing that I think you've mentioned a couple of times, Dan, is for example, if I go for an auction and I put it up on eBay, and it seems to me that almost all the time you'll hit a range, sure, but you'll hit market value on most things. And that is just wild to me that you can have 300 auctions of the same thing in the same night and same time, and they're pretty much hitting the same price. That just speaks to how many eyes are looking at it. And it's not the hot take that people want. Yeah, Pokemon is crashing, Pokemon this, Pokemon that, but it's true. It's like it's just look at Dan. I don't know how many times he has to put his hammer down, but Celebrations Charizard still hitting the same price, the same time every time. It's just keep going up, and population is just buying this stuff.
Yeah, there's a it would be interesting to know how many you'd never be able to know, but how many people are collecting
Yeah,
collecting cards. There's a lot of people.
For sure.
there is a lot of people, and you can just take a ride out to a show. I don't care what show. You can you can just take a ride out to a collecticon and see how many people gather around collecting cardboard, shiny cardboard.
Hmm.
So, given your username, your average player, Professor Birch wants to
Yep.
know: do you play the TCG? And if so, what's your favorite deck? And also, what are your thoughts on Paradox Rift for the competitive scene?
Okay. So, I don't play much anymore. As I mentioned at the start, I used to play the VGC. I started playing the TCG. Actually, Professor Oak, I'll give him the applaud for that. Got me into playing the TCG. Just because I need something fun to do, and I really wanted to meet people in person and socialize a lot more after the pandemic, if that's the P word. Uh, and I don't currently play. I don't have time. I wish I did. I think a lot of us really wish we had time to play or took the time to play. But I definitely keep up with the meta because I have to if I want to list cards on the website or I want to list cards on eBay, and I want to know what's happening everywhere exactly at all times, especially when you have cards like, for example, for a sealed stone selling for, I think we sold some copies at £12 a piece. That was something we just Harry was like, "Oh, I'll grab that out of the bulk," and it just pays for itself basically. But I think favorite decks. I liked playing when it was in rotation the Gengar VMAX Houndoom deck. I don't remember if it has a specific name, but I like that. But as TCGs goes, I think I like more strategic. And no hate to Pokemon players, but I like more where, for example, as Basic describes, more of a counter and offensive TCG game where you're able to do stuff while the other opponent is doing stuff as well. But yeah, I and end of the word mumble is that I wish I had more time to play. Gengar VMAX and Houndoom, probably my favorite deck. Yeah.
And then a follow up, since we got you talking TCGs, G1T Landon wants to know, not sure if it's been asked, but are you into any other TCGs like Yu Gi Oh?
So I didn't grow up with Yu-Gi-Oh at all. I didn't even know it existed like a year ago or two. Um, and I have now I've watched Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball cards, but I'm not really into collecting much. I think they're cool, just shiny everywhere. Can't say that they don't look good because they do, but I don't play it. I don't know the different rarities and all that stuff other than what I need to sell the card games themselves and to list the cards on eBay. So I know the general specific of pretty much every TCG, Fab to Magic to One Piece, for example. But I do collect some Skylanders TCG. I do. And that's a little bit of a niche thing that I've found very fun to do. And I don't really want to buy into the hype of Pokemon. I've been trying to find Skylanders TCG. So if you have any, hit me up.
What about you, Nick?
Nice.
Any commentary on TCG playability or
Any
planning to
new
learn
love for
anytime soon?
Metazoo?
Nope, definitely no new love for Metazoo.
You're not a Hello Kitty guy.
No, can't say I am. Can't say I am. Lorcana though was something that I did just get into. Or with the first set, got into that. More so buying and selling it, which has been working out really well. But I genuinely really do like the look of those cards. So I'm excited for that, and definitely want to keep going with the next sets that come out of Lorcana.
You played it at
Yeah,
all?
I'm interested to see where that goes. I'm very interested to see where Lorcana goes, and I think if they can keep the playability side at check, I think they're gonna do well. I heard like I listen to fucking everything on this YouTube app, pretty much. So shout out to the old card shop, but he said that at the store at Disneyland, the decks was sold out prior to just the single packs and booster boxes. So that's at least somewhat of a good sign to see for a playable game.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully they can get the print numbers up more than they are, because right now there's just not enough product whatsoever to go around.
Nick, Brandon wants to know what juice do you have prepared for tonight and tomorrow night's streams if you want to do a little eBay live pumping.
Tonight is nothing. Got a felt hat Pikachu. Got some Watsy, Charizards, Blastoise, Venusaurs. Got a few decent things tonight. Tomorrow night though, gonna have some more good stuff for sure. I haven't pulled anything for tomorrow night, but I gotta get on that later tonight or tomorrow. These stupid PokeFlipz are preventing me from doing that.
Uh,
Oh, there we go.
let's see. Ponga says, I have $47,000 in credit card debt. Is it smart to constantly transfer it to a new card so I never have to pay it? Not financial advice, but credit cards are unsecured debt. If you're talking a mortgage, if you're talking a car loan, those are secured. If you default on those loans, they will come reclaim what you had leveraged against. Credit cards are unleveraged though, so take that information as you will.
Yeah, and as well as not financial advice, but as long as you're not paying, as long as you're not making yourself pay the interest on it, rolling and paying it back, it's like you're just parking your money somewhere.
As a slightly more serious answer though, I used to do a little bit of the credit card churning game, open a card, take all the incentives, going back to where we were talking about TikTok. There are certain credit cards that you could open and you can get $300, $500, $1,000 back with a certain minimum spend over a time frame. I know when we went on our honeymoon, we did an Alaskan honeymoon, and I forget what the card even was, but we literally opened a card that had 6 months interest free. It was like $500 if you spent $5,000 within the first few months, and then it was like 5% on all travel. So we booked our whole cruise, we booked our flights, we did everything through that. We saved nearly $1,000 on a vacation that we had all the money to just pay cash up front, but it was one of those situations like, why pay cash up front, put it on this 0% credit card, get $1,000 discount, and then pay it off 6 months later. Absolutely mind-blowing. The point that I was trying to make with that, though, I've never seen a credit card that had 0% balance transfer and 0% rates. Usually it's a couple percent fee for balance transfer, and then it's 0% interest for several months or maybe a year. I think those are much more rare now, though, in current interest rate markets. I think those were a lot more common when the prime rate was 0% and mortgages were 2.5, 3%. With mortgages being 8% now, I think that's going to be a lot less likely. That's the semi-serious answer to a very, very joke question. Let's see. People elaborating on that strategy. We got Hater Nesto in the chat. Always jumping in the chat. Think he's just salty that your average player made it on here before he did. That's fun. Here we go. Skater Nesto, bringing the salt front and center. Question for your average player: what's your least favorite thing about Dan and Nick?
Be careful here. I was the one who invited you on, not Dan.
I will say I was at Tesco's, which opened with Harry and backed up to a shopping cart. So thanks
Easy
for that,
one.
Nick.
Low hanging fruit.
I didn't know. I did not know you were in the UK, but seems like you're multiplying. Don't like that. Dan, I'll say I don't like your new hours.
See that?
I need them earlier streams.
See,
not good when you're streaming that.
See, his least favorite thing about me is something that's temporary and that I'll rectify once my work situation resolves. But Nick will always be a non-cart returner. Just that's who he is in his core, his soul.
Well, Nick's upload schedule was also supposed to be temporary. Well, now it seems that his channel is the one that's temporary.
Even though this wasn't asked to me, I was gonna answer it. I wasn't gonna go the shopping cart route, but that was a good way to go with it. I'm gonna say that he keeps all this great content that we know he's capable of making. He starves us of it. He's a monstrosity. Yep. I mean, how can you keep that from the world? We're entitled to our old school Pokemon content that you gave us a bunch. You showed us what we had, what was there, and then you just stole it from us. Shame.
I know. I'm sorry.
Got all the shopping carts in chat. Love to see it. Here we go. Here's a good question. Back on to serious stuff, but thank you, Ernesto, for your contribution. Sam says, question for UAP. What are you looking forward to in the next 6 months to do with Pokemon?
To strictly do with Pokemon, the next 6 months, I'm looking forward to being part of or being at the opening of the store. I think that's going to be the most fun thing. Just not so much of people being able to like, I want to interact with people. It's not that is a very big thing of it, but I think I want to see. I like seeing others succeed. I think that's a big part of me. I like seeing other people succeed and seeing how hard Chloe and Harry works in the background for that store and what they've gone through and what they've done on the back end. I think it will be really, really rewarding to just see it all work out. And I'm really fortunate to be a part of it.
I see a couple other comments that I'll hit you with a couple more quick questions right after it because they kind of relate.
Come on.
Brandon wants to know, question for UAP, any plans to come to the US for an event in the future?
As of right now, as long as Harry and Chloe are the ones going out, that wouldn't be quite the idea right now. But I'm always like, if the opportunity comes, I'll take it. I really want to see all of you guys in the US, and I really want to go to the US. I've only been to Florida once, but I'd love to see something like Collecticon and all that stuff. I just need to prep myself a little bit more with the UK shows, as they're a little bit smaller. Doing TCG Expo in November and then London, so getting a little bit of practice in will be great. Till I eventually would ever whenever I can come to the US.
I'm sure someday we'll see you. I don't know. Nick, you going across the pond to that side anytime soon? I'm probably not personally. It would be tough.
I hate to say it. Probably not going to happen, though.
Yeah, it's tough.
What, you don't like British people? Hmm?
No,
We
no, not
we we,
particularly.
we don't have fancy enough shopping carts for you.
No, no. I just don't like you guys.
Yeah.
Um, and
Uh,
then here's another one that ties in kind of well, I think. Poke Princess Nicole wants to know, UAP, what's been your favorite experience in the Pokemon world so far?
Ooh. Favorite experience is very hard to choose, but I will have to say, and if anyone finds this offensive because you weren't there, I've loved every interaction mostly that I've had in this hobby. So, but I will have to say Worlds of 2022. It was the most changing event for me, just because I met a lot of people that have stuck around with me, that have taken me in and made sure that I've become a real good part of this community. And I know people don't like that word community, but I feel a part of it and I feel appreciated. So that's probably my favorite part. Or
Um, Here we go. Somewhere. Yeah, Sam in chat said, I already said come with me to Collecticon today. So Sam's trying to bring you over.
oh, there's your invite.
yeah, the only problem about that is I have a boss who's turning 30 and going to the US, so they'll need someone to run the back end while they're gone.
That's just for the next
Makes
one
sense.
though, right? So Houston's out of the question, but I think in 2024, hopefully, we can get you out to something.
That
I,
might be
I think there's
the
going to be a
case.
big slate of events. I mean, you've got Card Party in June, and then you're probably going to have somewhere between 6 and 10 Collecticons if I had to guess. So hopefully something will work with the scheduling.
Yeah, hopefully.
And then Sam's thing. Dan, maybe we can go to the UK for Sam's thing.
Yeah, yeah,
TCG
you're checking out
Expo.
TCG Expo.
Oof. London TCG Expo. I very unlikely would be able to make that. It's just so hard to justify the amount of time that I would have to go for.
Come on.
The same amount of
You
time
got to take
could
the
be.
kids to Hamleys.
My wife would
They've
be
got to see the Big Ben.
way too nervous to bring the kids on an international flight at this point. Someday maybe, but not anytime soon, sadly. If we were gonna fly that far, we'd go westward to Hawaii for Worlds, but that feels extremely unlikely as well.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Pokemon
everything's so far away.
the Pokemon dentist says thoughts on collect Pokemon, paying someone to fly out to get the Pikachu Van Gogh promo. Anyone ever do some wild stuff like that to get a card? I'm not familiar. Must have been a video or something.
Yeah, he released the video the other day, and I think that's fully valid. Like, if he wants to spend that money, he wants to do it. It's the same as pretty much a forwarding service. You're paying someone else to get the card for you, and then getting it shipped to you. You're paying a middleman
Mhm.
fee. I think taking advantage of the system is not necessarily wrong in the way that he does it, because just it's Pokemon should have known that that event would have been like it was. Like, you've seen it a bunch of times before, so not thinking ahead of that is their mistake, not the consumer, in my opinion, or the one taking advantage of it. Of course, I am not saying in any way necessary, like in any way possible, that I agree with people and what they did at that event. But it seems like that person, even if I think he was able to get like 32 or something, going through the event multiple times and that stuff. But it's like, one, he wasn't stopped. Two, if you got 32, I don't think you went in fist fighting for it or shooting people. So I guess seems like he went out unscathed, or else he was probably paid a much more than he should have. But I don't disagree with it. I think I will say that I've heard about a few instances where way worse things have been done to get Pokemon cards. So I don't think that necessarily is the most grime of the hobby I've seen.
I would agree. I would agree with you on that one. I hadn't heard of the situation, but I don't necessarily see a big issue there.
I think what he did was he heard of the event. He paid someone to fly out to Amsterdam who was closer to Amsterdam, because I think I've bought from Collect Pokemon before. He runs a store in, I think, Hong Kong. Um, and he has a YouTube channel. He's been doing YouTube for a long time, but seems like a good guy in my opinion. But I can't speak for any of his actions. But he took an opportunity, did it, and now he has cards.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think that he paid less than you would on eBay for
yeah,
what he did.
that's what I was gonna
So
say. Like I'm not familiar with the YouTube channel or what exactly went on, but if they were releasing a special promo and you send someone to go obtain them for you, that seems like a much more expensive way to get them than to just buy them on the secondary market. Some of those situations could be like analogous to some of the signing events probably that went on, people paying a lot of money to go travel, some not even end up getting signatures. If I were a consumer of those products, I would likely just go to the secondary market. But it would be cool. And the way that the question was worded, it almost sounded as if it was like in a not necessarily a positive light, but certainly not a negative one. Because
he,
the follow up
no,
question was, anyone ever do some wild stuff like that to get a card? I think
yeah, it seems a little bit over the, like, seems a little bit outrageous to, or outrage, that might be the wrong word to use, but a little bit extra to get that type of promo card, just because of the way that it was released afterwards. But I don't know. It's like, it seems to me it's the same way that people always want distribution, but you could probably look onto the secondary market and get it for close to distribution price anyways. So I don't know.
you better
Overdoing it, I
you
guess.
better obscure your background, UAP. Pokey Chloe's in here. She's gonna see that you're borrowing it.
Oh, boss. Hi, boss.
Busted.
Yeah, that'll coming into work tomorrow and then being like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for the use of your.
Oh.
I think we're actually fully caught up. Oh no, never mind. I Basic would have been really mad with me. I almost missed Basic's question. Uh,
We can skip that one.
what is your favorite cryptid, and why will Metazoo outlast Lorcana? I'll be very quick. Bigfoot is the best cryptid. He's my favorite. Metazoo will outlast Lorcana because it is a small mom and pop TCG relative to Lorcana. The decision to continue or cease Lorcana will be a cold-hearted capitalistic one. Not that I'm saying that in a negative light. That's just a fact of the matter. And I think that Lorcana is at much more risk of being printed into the ground in this hype stunk period. I could see them just printing all that the market wants and then just finding out that the market didn't actually want all that. It was just being bought for stonking reasons. And I'm not dooming Lorcana to guaranteed to fail, but if I had to choose in 3 years which one is less likely to be around, genuinely, I lean Lorcana. But I think both are like a coin flip, to be honest, at best. I have no insider information towards either. And honestly, like, Metazoo could continue on for a decade, never growing, never shrinking much further. It all comes down to whether or not Mike, a smaller group of individuals, makes the choice on whether or not Metazoo continues, right? So that's where I'm at. What about you guys?
I think I agree with you when it comes to the fall of Metazoo comparatively to the fall of Disney Lorcana as a whole. Is Metazoo is a whole IP, while Disney Lorcana itself is not. It's just a subpart. I think it's minuscule in the amount of revenue that both Ravensburger and Disney as a whole has. I think they're just small subsections and a way to grow, like grasp a new section of the market. If that dips, they'll just dip out as well. Um, I do see. I don't necessarily see the Metasuit community outgrowing Lorcana in the sheer amount of people who would be interested in it. That I don't see. So like the market the IP of Lorcana itself and the IP of Metazoo could probably differentiate where Lorcana is higher than Metazoo, but I think that Metazoo has more to lose if it were to fail. So I think that Mike, as a person, would more benefit from putting in harder amounts of work to keep it alive. Favorite cryptid though, will probably, I don't know. Is there like a troll? Like do you guys know anything about like Norwegian trolls? No,
Can't
okay.
say I do.
Hmm. I'll probably have to say. I'll probably have to say. Is there's like a dragon, right?
There's several different
It's like the one
dragons.
Yeah.
that it's the one that Josh likes. The green shiz.
Oh, the one that looks like Zapdos, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, the one that looks like Zapdos. I'll take that one. One's kind of sick.
I forget what that one's called, but I think he
Yeah.
likes it because
Come on, you're the Metazoo expert.
it's reminiscent of Zapdos, and I think that's why he likes it. What about you, Nick? Favorite cryptid?
Um, I have no idea. Loch Ness Monster? I'll go with that one.
That's one.
That's a cryptic, right?
Yep.
Is that one? Okay, there we go.
Mist-
But yeah, no, I agree. I agree with average player about I think Disney doesn't have anything to lose for Lorcana to fail. They're going to be fine if Lorcana succeeds. They're going to be fine if Lorcana dies. It's not going to affect them in the slightest. But with Metazoo, if that fails, that's all Mike has, and that's all the Metazoo team has. So they have more motive to make it succeed. So I think in a way they'll be working harder to try and make it succeed. Where with Lorcana, it doesn't matter in the slightest. It would be awesome if it succeeds, and I think it's way too early to tell, but I think right now it's doing very very well in terms of the player base, people collecting it, people wanting it. But we'll see what happens with the next couple sets.
yeah, I
Yeah.
could see scenarios where they're a top 3 TCG in 5 or 10 years, and I also see scenarios where they could just overprint it to death due to the kind of like the whole bullwhip effect that Pokemon Classics talked about, kind of what we talked about earlier, where some of these in between distributors slash retailers end up over hoarding the product. Some of the not necessarily quality issues, but like authenticity issues could be some kind of an issue. How little Lorcana is putting into uh like the fact that you can just open boxes and pull out packs without even opening the box. Some of those things that they have
Yeah.
going on are very concerning for if it exists long term.
there's a way to not have to just like at least recognize there's a secondary market for this stuff, and just don't I know you want this to be a playable TCG, and you're all over the place saying, oh, we don't care about rarities and all that stuff, but just it'll be all in all great for both the collector and player to not get scammed on stuff. So I think that should be number one priority when it comes to sealed product, because right now the boxes aren't really sealed product packs.
Yeah.
Um, I
I don't know
don't.
if you know anything, but the when it comes to Metazoo, aren't they going into the Chinese side of it, or like the Asian market?
Yeah, War is supposed to be the next set. War got pushed out. It was originally going to be September, but it got pushed out for Legacy, which was almost like a Legendary Collection or base set 2 style thing. I didn't buy any Legacy. I'm not doing any of the Kuromi's Cryptid Carnival, whatever that's called, the Hello Kitty stuff.
Okay.
But yeah,
Is
after
there a specific
War,
reason for it?
why I'm not doing it?
Yeah.
The main thing is just cost. I have access to all the main sets at significantly discounted prices for being a partner, and it's a similar reason why I don't really interact with Pokemon product that I can't get wholesale. Not
Under
I do
yeah.
to an extent. I do a little bit of Japanese, but nowhere near the level of English, just because of that imbalance where I can buy at X% of retail my English product through wholesale distribution, and with Metazoo it's a significantly even better discount to retail. But when I'm buying Hello Kitty Metazoo, or when I'm buying Pokemon Center ETBs or something like that, I'm buying it at the same cost as everyone else, and that's just not as attractive of an opportunity.
It's just getting your floor as low as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
that seems logical. It's like if you have avenues where you can have a lower in cost and therefore a higher out cost, then getting a bigger margin, you'd rather put your money into that than try and battle somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Any
So when is the next set coming out? Do you know yet?
yeah.
Well, the Hello Kitty one is like now. That one's available on TCG Player and eBay and stuff, and I think it comes out in early December. Is delivery, I believe. I think War, the next one that I do, the next one that I have access to, should be sometime next spring, late winter. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they've set a date for it. And Metazoo has been fairly known for setting dates and then them being pushed out. So even if there were a date set, I would be a little skeptical of when exactly it will land. That's just something that anyone involved in it would know by now, I think.
Do you
Hmm.
think that that's going to be a fault for them? Like, because a lot of the game, when it comes to, we speak about this when it comes to the social media side of things, consistency, and I know Nick knows a lot about that consistency. But it's as well, and I think you've probably noticed this on eBay Live. If you go live at the same time on the same days of the week, every time people will start recognizing the way that the way that you stream. So people will make their day around your schedule and not make so that you don't have to make your schedule around other people's, because people
Hmm.
anticipate what you're gonna do, and you put up a schedule and people can at least like plan to be there. It's like I plan my lunch probably around, oh shit, I see there's a stream coming up. I know that I can be there at that time and expect someone to be live.
Yep.
And I think that's beneficial. So when it comes to set releases, I think Pokemon does this really well. They've faulted it a little bit, I think, around these times, just because of delays and how sets were released and um, changes and stuff like that. But I think that people really like having something to anticipate or make their day around. So do you think that's a fault of Metas who not being able to meet those dates.
Yeah, I definitely think there's no argument that could be made that it's like a pro for Metazoo that they slip on deadlines fairly frequently. I think it can only be seen as a con. The question is like how big of a con? Well, it hasn't killed it yet. Could it if it got bad enough, could it kill it completely? I think yes. I don't think it's to that point, but I would be lying if I didn't say that there's got to be some countable amount of people out there that have left MetaZoo out of frustration that they buy something in May and they get it in June or July or August or whenever it may be. That's just not ideal. I mean, yeah, there's no way to like, and I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it or anything. It's as a partner, it would be great if I knew. And native was a weird thing where it had a release date, it largely missed it, but some amount of people got some amount of product earlier than others. I actually benefited from that. That was not an ideal thing in the total space. That was not optimal for the entire market, but through no fault of my own, I happened to benefit from that. For War, I would rather, if I had the option to choose, I would rather it was just a successful, thorough, full launch to everybody at the same time. I would not like root for the same thing that happened with Native that happened with War, because I do think overall it's just a detriment to the game.
No, and to the consistency part as well, that is a big thing for everyone. They do life can get you so much farther. Talent, in my opinion. So but the grind will reward itself.
I see Chloe's
But
got
I will say in Metazoo's defense, I would have 100% made the same decision if Hello Kitty came to me and said, we can do a collab, but it has to be this time.
Oh yeah,
Okay, well we'll scrap
definitely.
the next set until whenever and do this.
I will never get the people. And Ernesto, I know you wanted the hot takes or debates or whatever, but I'll never understand anyone, and you can give me any argument you want that no one that the people say that Metazoo shouldn't have taken the deal with Hello Kitty. Like,
Well,
I
they
don't care if you're a
100% should
I don't
have.
care if you're a cryptid game. I don't care if you're a Pokemon game. Whatever shitty ass game you are, you take that deal on the spot.
Exactly. Yep.
Hello Kitty might be doing merch or whatever, but people will at least recognize something and be like, "Hey, yo, I want to pick that up." It's like the general consumer seeing something they recognize, they'll go and buy it. It's the same with an eBay store. If you keep it consistent, people recognize your listing, they know what that is, they see the familiarity, and they go for that over the other, even though it's cheaper. They go, "Oh yeah, I know that." And then you have Hello Kitty. People be like, "Yeah, yo, I know that cat or whatever it is. I'll pick that up."
Yeah, it's
Yep.
funny. Some of the criticisms that I've heard of MetaZoo, and we don't need to turn the last however long of this into a MetaZoo conversation. We can veer back into Pokemon whenever. But when MetaZoo makes like whatever different merch they make, it's like why is MetaZoo doing all these things? They should just focus on the cards. I've got everything you see behind me. I've got totes and totes and totes of random Pokemon stuff. Like, well, I've got one right next to me here. I've got jelly jars. They collab with like anyone who would collab with them, they would collab with back then. All different kinds of food products. I have Pokemon toothbrushes. I have Pokemon cameras. I have like all different kinds of stuff. The same thing that Pokemon was doing years ago, just trying to get their brand out as many places as possible. It's like seen as a negative and it's criticized. Kind of just strange. I don't know.
Every you put yourself out there, the more you put yourself, the brand, everything in people's faces, people will see it.
Hmm.
Collabs are a good thing, brand. As much as people want to hate on it or oh, Metazoo is it's supposed to be thing. It's supposed to be that. It's the same with Magic as well. Doing Doctor kind of connection. No, it isn't, but it's bringing people like Doctor Who into Magic. Like collabs work, happen, why people spend money on it.
Yep.
They were talking about a card where you had to wear goggles. I was not aware of that. Just like in Pokemon, I don't play Pokemon. I never really have. This winter, actually, I might try to learn it with my son because he's interested in learning it. But for now, we just play War style, where the bigger number wins. But yeah, I've never played Metazoo. I'm not familiar with how to play it. Apparently, you
Use
need
one of
to.
the classic collection.
Oh, I'm definitely not going to use that.
Yeah.
I'm going to more use like a $10 Battle Academy and start there.
Okay, Dan, do a middle ground. What you do is you print out proxies. You can take out your cards that you want to grade, and then you can give him his shiny toys.
Oh, if he ever were to take it very seriously and be interested in playing at a high level, I've mentioned this before on a PokeFlipz, I think. I would pivot my business potentially more towards playability
Monster him.
if it were to suit like his desires. If he wanted to be grinding out regionals, grinding out events, and wanted to learn, I would be all in to diving into that and learning more playability myself. And I could see that being a lot of fun. And we'll see how much
The
interest he
reason
takes in
why
it,
you would
though.
want to do that is that he can run your playable TC store while you run
Yeah,
the grading card side. Get free label.
Yeah, nice little family business going on there.
for sure. Oh, and Julia in the chat says, I'm actually interested in these MetaZoo products now because I collect Hello Kitty. So there's one of the ones being
There
affected
we
by the
go.
collab.
And and I will say when it comes to that sponsorship type of thing, it was a joke, but I think that's one thing that is really not done anywhere. Like I don't care how much you pay. I'll probably be sure that some TCG player would take a small chunk of money just to wear your consignment service on the jersey or something. I don't know, something like that. Whatever YouTube channel, Instagram, just pay him a little bit. Like these players are underappreciated.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
definitely
I'm sure they would for not much money.
there are game stores out there
And
that
then talk,
sponsor players and stuff. They'll
yeah,
pay their entry fees. They'll provide them with the decks. It's like, hey, what have you been playtesting recently? What cards do you need? I'll build your deck for you. You wear this jersey. You shout out this game store, whatever it may be, when you go to the events.
that's it's a thing right there when it comes to players, and I wanted to discuss it a little bit, especially with you, Dan, when it comes to the spreadsheet stuff and having owned a Pika trophy. How do you think the auction tomorrow is going to go? If you know about it now, designated name for Tord #2
Oh, I
trophy.
did see that. Is the auction ending tomorrow?
I think it is because I'm going to the actual auction, but I don't know how hammer prices and stuff work. Yes, I'm young. I haven't been to a physical auction before. Not used to the normal auction houses and stuff.
I
It's really fun in person. You'll have a good time.
I didn't even know it was ending tomorrow, to be honest.
Yeah.
It,
What you're saying is they haven't done enough marketing.
I guess not, because I'm pretty in deep here. I probably should have known, but I'm also trying to behave. I'm not trying to buy stuff. If it ended at the proper price, I might end up buying that, and I don't know that I want to tie up that much liquidity.
Yeah, I want to get to that day where I can just casually drop on a stream that, yeah, I might buy a Pika trophy tomorrow. I don't know.
Your price and what it's gonna go for are two completely different things, Dan.
Oh, that's
It's gonna sell for more than 20 bucks.
it's going through Baldwin's auctions though. That's right. It's going through
Yeah.
some like it could be a deal. I don't know.
It could be,
No.
but I've heard Baldwin is actually a more prestigious auction house than people will leave it out to be. But I really don't know. Um, Sam in chat would probably know more about that than I would. So if ever leaves anything in chat, we can discuss it there. But what do you foresee if you want to put out a price now that
Well, I see
seen some very, very low prices for CGC cards, but this is the PSA? Do you think the market is still values PSA?
I see some website articles saying that a Pokemon card might auction for up to 250,000 pounds. I would be very
Yes.
shocked if it were to go for 250,000 pounds personally. I would be slightly shocked if it were to go for 100,000. But I guess we'll see.
Well, Chloe just said she thinks currently I think it is currently at 95,000 with the buyer premium.
I don't see it going
That would have been more than I guessed it sold for.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go significantly higher than that, but I'm not the buyer for that, so I don't know.
Okay. You've
So
never
much
disclosed.
for placing a bid on it.
Yeah.
Well,
You've
I
never
mean,
disclosed your price,
I
but I think Radar disclosed what he sold it for in the vicinity of
that was a
on his
number one though.
podcast.
This is a number two, also.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
He
the
sold
market
his was it
112, right?
well okay,
I
was it
was
112?
gonna, yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say
Okay.
110.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. 110. So what do you think do you think the label will affect it? Whatever.
I think people care about the labels too much. Like I think one, people care
Okay.
about the opinion on the grade too much to begin with. If you put who used to own it, like I just don't care as the consumer, the potential consumer. If anything, I might care slightly because I know that it wasn't an extra copy. I know that it was awarded, and I guess tying a name to it. But most of the full art Pikachu's that I bought from the winner, so I already had a name attached to it anyways. But yeah, I don't see the name on the card doing much either direction. And anyone who makes a strong argument, except for maybe if it's the buyer, if there was a buyer out there like, oh, I'm willing to pay 100,000 for a number 2 PSA 10, but since his name is on it, I'm willing to pay 150,000. I've never heard anyone say that. I've only heard people speculating that weren't the buyer for that card in any case. So it's like that doesn't mean anything.
When people throw out specific numbers, I'll say if Gem Mint can overestimate on almost was it overestimate on $1.4 million on a CGC 10 Pikachu, then anyone in this hobby can misinterpret any sale ever.
Yeah,
That is
I think
definitely true.
people
it's
are
just
way
about time of
overconfident.
day, buyer,
Yeah,
buy it, everything.
people are way
Because there's so
overconfident
many
in their
transactions
ability
behind.
to estimate prices on stuff, and people get like just way too much confidence. And like I remember when that Yu-Gi-Oh card came out, oh, it's gonna sell for this minimum guaranteed. Like, you're not bidding in that auction, you have no idea. Even people bidding in the auction have no idea. Like when the number one sets come out, if a PSA 9 illustrator comes out, these things just fluctuate a lot more than anyone can possibly realize.
And there's the market sentiment as well. It's like people said, "Oh, that illustrator Pikachu was so low, I would have bought it at that price." Like, were there, you had the option, you could have bought it, and you didn't. And that's market at that day. Like that's what happens. So like we try to guesstimate the market all the time, but it's like you said, get your in cost and worry about the out. Yeah, you could talk about all day about people overvaluing a simple stupid label, but I don't know. All of you guys run eBay stores probably all got in the comment that that's not a PSA 10, even though the label says so. Uh,
Yeah, it's got this little whiteness. It's not a real 10.
yeah, yeah.
And I'll give you 9 pricing.
And one thing that Pokey Chloe said in the chat, number one is king. I personally, and I say this as a former number one Pikachu owner, I have no money into this at all. I think Chloe still does own that one that they graded as a PSA 10. I think the number one relative to the 2, 3, and 4 is significantly undervalued. I mean, I've sold 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, and I've seen and I've heard private sale prices for each. I think, I mean, the one, they won. Everyone else lost. The one is the champion, and everyone else lost. I think the ones should separate more from the pack personally. But that's just me. That's one consumer. That is somebody who's actually owned them. I think I still own a number 3, but that person lost a match too. Oh, they lost in the semis, and then they won in the consolation game. So yeah, I personally,
but that again, they're not even the last loser. They're the next second last loser.
Well, fourth place is like they lost and then they lost. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, you're just getting. It's like getting a PSA 10 these days. Just a consolation prize, participation trophy.
Yeah. No, but I personally, and I'm one person. I'm one component of this market. The market is the sum of everyone's opinions and all that. So it's not like I am mad about it. I'm not trying to force my opinion on the market, but like me personally, if I had to put 100K into a number 1, or like John sold this for 112K, if I had to put 112K into a number 1 or 95K into a number 2, I'm going number 1 all day. I honestly think number 1 should be like double what a number 2 is, but it's never been that.
Because it's the actual trophy. It's not a losing trophy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Champion.
I almost feel as though the full art should be attained to just the number 1, and then the stamped second.
There you go.
Maybe get a stamped festival second place. Boo hoo, you lost.
Well, that's one interesting thing about the number 4 as well. Like it's gold, silver, bronze, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4 is like a duplicate art. Like you get a bronze trophy for getting 4th, and that's not even a thing. I mean, I've owned two number 4s, and I never really liked the number 4s. It's just they were there, and I had the opportunity to buy them, so I bought them. But I've always considered a full set like 1, 2, 3 because that's what an art set is.
The number 4 trophies. Word things in society these days, but yeah, yeah, it's
I remember during the hype when I still had my full set 1 through 4, there was a Chinese buyer who offered me $50,000 flat, whether it was a 1, 2, 3, or 4, which at the time, that offer on a number 4 was very, very solid. That's actually what I sold my number 4 to Rusty for. I sold my 2 for 70. Or no, I think I sold my number 4 for 40. Now I'm not positive. Maybe the Chinese buyer offered me 50 for a 1 or a 2 and then 40 for a 3 or a 4. But I remember at one point a Chinese buyer who definitely had quite a few cards. I was just shocked. I was shocked at how little premium they put on each additional placement. To me personally, like, not that I'm buying these cards right now, but if a number 1 was 100K, I would think the number 2 should be like 50 or 60, and then 10K down each from each place below. But it's never been that before. That's just where I'm at.
I feel that I agree with you. If I was looking at buying Olympic medals, I would much rather pay for the number 1 than I would the number 2, because I'm sorry, the people who own number 2s out there, what significance have? Bought it from a guy that. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. Spent 95K on a guy that lost.
Oh, Panga says, yeah, I usually forget 100K deals too. I think it was 70 for the 2 and 40 for the. Yeah, it was definitely 70 and 40.
Trust me, Ponga.
I like
When I buy my chickpea at the grocery store, I usually forget that as well. The 45p I usually forget that.
See, it's all relative, yeah. 100K trophy card to me is like a can of chickpeas. No, it was less the sale to Rusty that I'm forgetting. It's more the offer that I had come in. But multiple times I had people offering on the set, and the lack of a premium they were putting on the number one. That's why the number one was the last one that I sold, because I held out on it longer because the offers never really seemed to justify.
I don't know. I can kind of see it not being that big of a premium. They all have the same rarity. All the arts look similar.
If you're speaking about rarity, it's like, why not go for that card that was 1 of 1 with the winner on the card? If that was, what did that sell for? Like 130, 150, that range?
Yeah, it was something
Yeah.
like
And you're
that.
spending 112 on a number one. That's, what is it? How many copies are there of that?
6 each year, and then all the different years.
Yeah, so there's one of that one. You spent what, 30k more on that. That seems undervalued. My
See,
opinion.
I don't think so, because that's too niche. Like you want the rarity aspect, but you also want sales history. So people know what to expect when you go to sell it. Having like a true 1 of 1 is cool, but I think you're almost worse off in that case because of like there's zero sales history.
So your perfect Squirtle is that's worth.
Yes.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm gonna throw out a bid. 350. Yeah.
uh,
But I think Nick has the more majority opinion, because that's what the market has shown. The prices are just a lot more in line with each other, and UAP and myself, we just value the winners more. I mean, losers lose, winners win. They should be more of a premium for that, but
Just the people that value the number 2 and number 3 and number 4 more are just the people who lose in life.
and as some
I'm with the everyone's a winner generation. You guys are hard set on winners and losers.
and see, I only own a number 3, so like I'm saying this against my own financial interests too. I mean, I should be trying to pump it. Oh, they're all as rare. They all should be equal value. I'm not really on that at all.
I don't got a say in that. I have no invested interest in anything. I'm 19. I'd rather spend that money on a house.
Oh, I missed this one by Ernesto. The answer is there's no such thing as too many. He says, question for hosts and guests, how many plushies is too much? What's the healthy number of plushie to own? There's no such thing as too many.
No, the plushies, like, what can't you do with plushies?
Wait till they start grading them. Get your positions built up now.
Oh, they're definitely grading them. If Rudy is talking about putting booster boxes into cases, someone out there is thinking about putting one of these in cases. We're going to be grading Crocs. We're going to be grading anything we can. If there's one thing I've learned in my 19 years of living, is that people like plastic.
That is very true.
I think I'm fully caught up on questions. What's up, Nick?
I was just gonna say I've only got 2 plushies. That's enough for me. I've got
2.
my Ninetales that you gave me, and then I got my Squirtle that Walrus gave me.
Step up your plushie
Oh,
game.
I like that you still have that though.
I'm telling you. eBay Live.
What do you think I was gonna throw it away?
I figured you would have eBay Live auctioned it by now. That warms my heart knowing that you still have that. Do you sleep with it every night?
Yes, yes, yeah. Cuddle with it every night.
That's the answer I was hoping for.
No, we're gonna one day we're gonna see. Is it who's that singer who usually wears like dresses and stuff? We're gonna see Nick in a full out dress made out of Pokemon plushies selling plushies on eBay Live. That's gonna happen one day, and we're all gonna be there.
Oh.
Here we go. So this is gonna be me doing my thing, taking a meme question and turning it into an actual answer. Manga says, question.
Oh God.
Thoughts on having kids as part of your business and being able to pay them, and that pay being put into a Roth IRA and never being taxed? Money glitch? Oh, and you get tax benefits end of year too. Unfortunately, I thought once my children turned 5, they could be put onto payroll. I've been told it's 6. So 1 more year for my son, 3 more for my daughter. I am very bullish on paying professionals, consulting with professionals, not tax evading. That's illegal. That puts you in jail. Tax avoidance, though. Tax evasion is illegal. It's criminal. Tax avoidance is good business. Consult with professionals. Use all available tax advantages to your benefit legally, within the extent of the law. That's what I'll say.
Like I said, with the collect Pokemon's topic of him exploiting a fault in the system that's made, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hate on someone using a loophole that is there. It's there, should be patched. If you think it is wrong, then make an effort to try to patch it. Can't, don't don't get lost in trying to hate on that people. Do it yourself, yes. Get some children.
Get some children.
What do you think, Nick? Big on tax optimization?
Sure. Sure. What you said. I'll agree with you.
And now that I'm with my daughter during the days and I'm working nights, my daughter and I actually, she's 3. I actually need to go, what do you call it? I need to, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but I need to get them to make the laws to where I can get them on the payroll younger. Because, I mean, my daughter's contributing at this point. She was helping me the other day, breaking down the Charizard premium boxes. I got my nice gray felt hat Pikachu here in one of the stands that came out of the Charizard collection box. I mean, why can't I have her on payroll when she actually is materially participating in the business already at 3 years old? She should be able to be on payroll.
I'm saying the same about overtime over here. If I'm having fun working, why do I need to get stopped from working?
Or are you capped on your hours? Are you capped to like 40 per week or something?
Boss, capped.
You just got to get you to be exempt instead of non-exempt. You got to get into
Maybe
a salary position.
I'll max out my hours and join Sam for Collecticon because I don't have any hours left on this payroll.
There we go. That's the way to do it.
That's the game. That's the game. That's how I get to the US.
What I know we're almost 5 o'clock. I know that we talked about potentially 5 o'clock being the time. I've got a kindergartner's birthday party to bring my kids to at 6, I know, and you guys both have your own things. When you guys want to cut?
Go for a couple of last minute questions. Chat.
Okay.
I wanna reach the bus, but I'll stay if the chat's lively.
What time do you have to leave at to make the bus for sure? We're pretty much to the bottom of the chat.
Depends on how clean the office has to be, boss.
I was gonna say you can use those plushies to make a bed. That would be cozy. Just sleep right there tonight.
I've said that multiple times. I said the office. what's the difference between sleeping in the office and having fun at the work? Like, I'm just taking a power nap.
Exactly. Exactly. Uh,
Yeah, no, I'll take some last minute questions. I thank you guys so much for having me. Like, I b- I'm gonna say this to everyone out there feeling like you're a nobody. I feel like I'm a nobody. I don't feel like I'm very special in this hobby, but everyone takes good care of everyone, and as long as you're a good fellow back to everyone else and you have fun, make sure enjoy the times together with people. Cliche as that sounds, but it's there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to take and give in this hobby.
We very much appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate you, Pokey Chloe, for hanging out in the chat and also letting UAP use your setup. But Pokey Chloe did say in the chat, "Don't miss your bus, your average player. Thank you." So that's her saying that you are strictly forbidden from sleeping over in the stream room, was what it sounds like.
Uh,
But I think this is a good point to close. We're actually fully caught up on chat. We all have places to be and things to do tonight. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for hopping on. It was a great chat, as they always are. A little bit shorter than normal, but I think UAP upped the quality level to where we got the same amount of value out in less time.
appreciate it. I hope so. If anyone ever needs anything from me, just reach out. Discord, Instagram. It's mostly your average player. If you want to join a Discord, join Professor Oak's Discord. Support these guys on Patreon. They deserve it. I don't care if you shouldn't be paying for information. It's paying for people's time. It's worth it. You would do the work yourself. Everyone would do it if it was that simple. Support the small people in the hobby, the big people in the hobby. The more money you spend on things, of course, financially responsible, spend money on everyone in this hobby and we this hobby growing because there's an untapped market everywhere. There's more people we need to get in here. There is more experiences to be had. No, it's given me a lot, and I want to give back to the hobby as much as possible I can.
yeah, it was nice to finally put a face to the name. Thank you for coming on. It was always fun having these special guests join us. Mhm.
Make sure
Yep.
you check out Nick on eBay Live. I
Yep.
think you're going later today, right?
Yes, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, gonna be on live. Looking
Are
forward
you
to it.
selling singles with the shirt on or shirt off?
I haven't quite reached going twice status yet, so the
Okay.
shirt is always stayed on.
Untapped market, but
If
I
you
guess.
if you put in a bounty, Mr. Walrus might pay it on #1 out of the gate to get a shirtless stream. So just throw a number out there. Hey guys, this is a $5 single on TCG Player. If it goes for X amount, this will be a shirtless stream. I bet you Walrus pays it. I bet you Walrus and Brad G bid it up. Yeah.
Not financial advice at all, but I'd go into debt to see that.
I'd go into debt to avoid that. So yeah, you might have to put two numbers out there. This makes it a shirtless stream. This makes it a shirt on stream.
One number for shirtless and one number
If I
for
then put up the
shirt
bid,
on.
will you pay me not to pay it?
See how many business
That's
opportunities
pretty
there
much.
are out there. I mean, we're coming up with them
Yeah,
right here, like
it's
left and
endless.
right. He did say
Yeah.
he's offered multiple times, but yeah, it's Friday, 5 p.m. The work bell just rang again. Really appreciate everyone hanging out. One of our patented very long goodbyes. It's always so hard to say goodbye, but yeah, with that, we're gonna call it a stream. Thanks everyone for hanging out.